It's October 30th, 2021. We're here today to have a brief inspection of this super rare Wheeler Hodoc right-hand drive Delorean DMC 12. I always like to start off an inspection with just standing back and taking the first impression of the car and remembering it. Does the car sit level? Do the lines look sharp? Just as the car generally pleasing to the eye. So yep, everything looks good so far. We'll not do a close-up just yet. We'll just walk around the car, basically take it in and just see how she presents herself. So all looks pretty good. You can see there the vehicle comes with a set of NCT tires. She actually has a set of NCTs on her also, but the tires are they're only for show. Certainly wouldn't be used to drive the vehicle. Okay, coming up closer, we're going to start taking a look at the lines. Of course, Deloreans are not famous for their gaps, so as you can see, that's pretty standard stuff. It's all good. It's what I would expect in a car. Coming around, look up the side of the fenders. You can see the gaps there are what you would expect of an early car. She comes with the dark rims. We'll go ahead and open up. Door opens relatively well. It's a cold day here, so the gas and the struts are going to be weak, so I wouldn't expect the doors to fully open up. As you can see, the trim is poor, but again, it's not out of the way. She's peeling away with the seals. They'll all need to be done. It's nice to see the bolster. Any cars that are converted today, it's very difficult to get that particular trim. It was made by ICI back in the day, and it has a deep grain to it, which this one also has, so that's nice. The binnacle, as you can see, it's been covered. Leather trim's pretty good. She's lost the armrest here. Again, it's all available. We're going to look at the very important VIN number. Okay. It has been raining quite hard, and I do see a little bit of drip coming into the cabin there. The headliners have been replaced at some point, but again, it's all superficial. Carpet looks good. Seats look good. Cargo net's there. Most of the trim, as I can see, is all intact and in place, which is very important. Walking around the back of the car, we can see damage to this rear quarter panel. Superficial. It's all accessible from behind, so it's not a big deal. You can see a little bit of trim there missing. Again, superficial. Rear fascia looks good. It's starting to droop in the middle and pull itself in here. Again, quite normal to the car. You can see here also, as the fascia droops in the middle, it tweaks in the middle, so that's easy enough sorted. Panel fit is not bad. You can see the T-top is given an issue, or has an issue. I don't know why, what's going on there. Again, this is just a preliminary inspection, so it would need to be gone into more detail to see why that T-top is like that. First impressions are good. The car is complete, which is the most important thing. It will need work, obviously, but not out of the realm of any good body shop. So that was first impressions. So coming around to the driver's side of the car, we're just going to check mileage, indicated at 13,738 miles. Moving on down to the pedal box, you can see its assembly. Carpet all looks good. You get your repositioned handbrake, which is cool. Registration paperwork's in the back. I'll have a look at it in a moment. Again, trim is poor, but no big deal. The car's complete. Wiring and fuse assembly looks good, with no issues, no burnt wires, everything's in place. So that all looks good. Original Craig radio. So we're now taking a look at the engine bay. The engine looks grubby, but again complete. It's had a few updates. We're right beside a football pitch for kids there, so you can hear them in the background, which is all good. Just a comment on the rear engine cover. You can see where it's coming apart. You can see where the T-top has been pulled up. It hasn't been damaged. It looks actually quite straight, so that's all good. So it's time to start her up. A little bit of hesitation there, but actually it's a really damp, cold, shitty day here, so that's not too bad. Let's see if she idles up. And she's idling up. Oil pressure's up there, she's charging well. Yeah, that all looks good. Just from behind I can hear the engine. So far it doesn't sound too bad. Clutch is heavy, brake pedal is strong. Switch gear for your windows is all good. You've got the mod in there for your rear fog lamp, which is good. Looking around the car, dash looks good. We don't have any problem with sun here in Ireland, so no cracks in the dash. The VIN's over there in the corner. I can't really see it through the damp, but we'll take a better look at it in a moment. So that's pretty good. So don't concern yourself about the steam, that's normal enough in a cold morning. Again, I'm quite happy with the startup. We'll see if she idles down. You can hear the radiator fans going on there. That would need to be checked. So here we are, underneath the bonnet of this right-hand drive Delorean. Lifting the cover, you can see that she's completely unique. She has her spare wheel, different floor layout to ours. Access for your brake fluid is over here as opposed to over there. Again, trim is in a poor state. The car is ready, I think, for a new owner and a new part of its history. So that's under the hood, bonnet, whatever you want to call it. So idle is beginning to drop down as the vehicle warms up, so that's all good. Oil pressure still up there, she's still charging nicely, and temperature's beginning to climb. So here we are, we've elevated the driver's side right front and take a look at the suspension and, more importantly, the chassis. As you can see, it's relatively grubby. There's your brake servo. She's devoid of her safety updates, so you're going to want to check into getting your safety updates done. It's not hard, and Delorean Houston has all that gear for you, so it's not a big deal to get it all done. It's crusty again, but I'm not seeing anything that's out of the way. Steering rack, obviously critical to this car because it's particular to this vehicle. This side looks okay, we'll check the other side in a moment. So that all looks good. So we're now having a look at the passenger side. It's missing the cover for its windscreen washer tank. it's gone. We're going to check the free play in the steering rack. It seems tight. We're looking at the chassis on this side. Looks actually good. Crusty, but good. So there is a issue with your steering bushing in the firewall. It looks worse than it is, but something you're going to want to take a look at. Cost wise, it's mostly just labour. The bushing's probably 30-40 bucks. So as I said, it's worse. It looks worse than it is. So we've now elevated the passenger side rear of the car. Engine looks oily for 13,000 miles. Could have been cleaner. You've got a drip coming off the back bell housing. I suspect the rear crankshaft oil seal. So you're going to want to pull the motor and do a reseal on it at the very least. CV bits all look good. Everything's complete. Exhaust's complete. Looking further up towards the front of the car. Again, the chassis looks good, which is very important. Could give you a real headache. So you've got your leaks, very common, nothing untoward, nothing out of the ordinary, and what I'd expect of a car is vintage. We're now onto the driver's side of the chassis, rear. You can see the vehicle's had a new starter motor fitted, so it has had a bit of maintenance done to it. Chassis, which is the most important thing I'm looking at here, is good. Crusty suspension, again normal. Would need to be reinstated. The conditions here are not great. I'm having to do this on the ground. Between showers. The vehicle's coolant system obviously would need a... That's a view of the right rear trailing arm. Nothing untoward. Everything's as I would expect. Shower tops. Don't give any issues, but there you go. That's what it looks like. You have water regression in just in the front of the car. Not abnormal. Seals are gone. So I've jumped in the car and give her a little bit of a start up there. We're going to take her for a drive and see how she feels. So it's fairly quiet, so I'll video here as I go along. Car seems tight, it's not pulling, brakes are excellent, gear changes are smooth and crisp. She's a bit hesitant on the throttle, but I'd say a good service and flush of your fuel system would go a long way to help on that. All in all, the car drives quite nicely for a Delorean. Like I said, it's relatively tight, there's no rattles or bangs. It's revving through the gears, clutch feels good. You can see the heating system, ventilation system could do with a bit of help. So you might want to look into that also. So just got back from the test drive. Gear shift is crisp. Clutch pedal is slightly heavy. brakes are excellent. In fact, the brake pedal feels better than pretty much any DeLorean I've ever driven, which is a credit to the conversion. She's still revving high, in fact. There she goes. So possibly throttle sticking there, no big issue. Temperature's up to where it should be. She's charging nicely. Oil pressure's good, and she's got a little bit of fuel in her. So that concludes our short viewing of the car. Overall impression: the car is fair to good. You're going to want to do a full recommission of the car. Over here you'll be looking at about 15 to 20,000 pounds to leave it in a condition that certainly it needs, with it being such a rare and important car to the DeLorean history and mark. But yes, I like the car. I give it a thumbs up.